Seems like just as soon as I get my head close to the surface of the water, I somehow have a rearview mirror pop into my head and I realize I'm still pretty far behind. Where have I been? You would think that working for the last 12 years at schools that have been pretty loaded up with resources, both basic and tech-wise, that I would have been aware of and understood and been riding this wave of digital storytelling that's been going on as we watch our children develop these skills of visual literacy and move towards becoming visually fluent. It's quite amazing to me that in such an infinitesimal amount of time, geologically speaking, we've gone from a species that developed an oral fluency with the skills of memorization and recitation and rhetoric, which maintained a laborious but constant backup of our history and culture that focused on the past. It started all about 100,000 years ago, where the storyteller was the point of truth. And then, thanks to Gutenberg, we substituted and augmented ourselves into the era of the printed page, developing a book fluency, we call them literacy now, with the skills of composition, publication, comprehension, inferential thinking, summarization, and attribution that still maintained a focus on the past, but had a slight look toward the future thanks to the few. But the author was still the point of truth, and that's all been within the last 500 years. Now we've modified into a digital literacy with the skills of machine maintenance, workflow management, e-communication, curation, programming, collaboration, with a blend of the past, present, and a direct vision towards the future, towards a screen fluency with all of the skills above, plus with curation, attribution 2.0, and anytime collaboration, and open source sharing, where we create our own truth with every click, digital story mix and remix in presentation style over the last 30 years. But now we're being redefined back into a more visual literacy, moving toward the idea of visuality, where all of the skills above are used to create skills that haven't even been created yet, with us choosing our own future. Each of us, through every MOOC we attend or badge that we earned, every Pechakucha, every that we create, digital story or presentation that we share, with every connection that we make in our PLN to whatever we come up with next, we are responsible to be the point of truth. And that's happened all within the last 2 decades. I guess that over the last 4 years, even before my first disruption of one-to-one, most essays and dioramas have been substituted with photo stories or PowerPoints that were way better than essays, even though the majority of them were still pretty painful. And to me, I guess it was feeling like I've been moving my kids towards this, but it was more like driving a mini bike instead of riding the real thing. And after this week of studies, I know that my kids and I were missing out. I was focused on a simple substitution of the product for product instead of tapping into the mind-blowing potential that the processes of digital storytelling have for covering a huge amount of the Common Core standards and nets while creating a closer community of learners in your classroom who make more personal interpretations of their learning and allow them to have the freedom to discover, create, construct, and present their own meaning of whatever topic they're studying, or better yet, show them the potential of this new communication form and let them redefine with it all year long. But more importantly, not having a clue about digital storytelling, I missed out on being able to share the essence of it, which is the main focus of when I teach writing. In the production of those photo stories early on, we never really focused on the important question. What is the heart of your story? How do you want to make them feel, touch, taste, hear, or see? What do you want the audience to remember tomorrow or forever? And I know that because now I'm seeing myself in the proverbial rearview mirror again, midway through cramming through this weekly reading, which you really should never do because it is another very deep and inspiring rabbit hole. I get a great idea to create a UBD style of study on this. Digital storytelling designed for 4th and 5th graders that we have a need for right now. So I got starting on it, jumped into the EQs, EUs, and then ready to tweet it out to the world for collaboration, and it hit me. The majority of this is the basic content of the first 4 weeks of Course 3. No wonder I'm fired up. And B, a boatload of people have already done this and done a pretty good job. So now all I need to do is compact the first 4 weeks down to 20 slides or less. Remix it into a language that fits our learner and pack it into our overflowing curriculum map. How do you pack that in, and how do you cull your learning? my thoughts